Hello, everybody, and welcome to That's Football. Like a bloke who's lost a finger in a fight with a blender, I can only offer you 4 places, just like the Premier League, and that's what we're going to be talking about this morning. Who is going to get top 4? Can Chelsea join that party? We also will be talking about Newcastle, who are in that top 4 race, and what an incredible season they're having. They are in the Carabao Cup final now. Now, a lot of people this morning, they'll be doing the old algorithm video. Who won the transfer window? Ranking everybody's transfers. Boring. It's closed. Chelsea won the window by a long way. I'd put Arsenal probably second, and the rest I didn't really take much notice below top 6, if I'm honest. And at least I am honest. Chelsea won the transfer window. Can they now get themselves into a top 4 race? The quality of player that Chelsea have brought in, especially with that final one, Enzo Fernandez. They've just, to me, Chelsea this season, they're like a flat Coca-Cola that's been left outside for ages, and you drink it and you go, that's not Coca-Cola, unless you don't like Coca-Cola in the first place. It's lost its fizz, Chelsea, this season. They've had injuries, they've changed their manager. It's just not gone right. And then when we look at the top 4 race here, Chelsea are barely in the top 10. 29 points, 20 games played, same amount of games as Man United and Newcastle, who really occupy the gettable spots technically, and they are 10 points off Manchester United and 10 points off Newcastle. I think logically it's a no from me that they won't get top 4, and I don't think that that's necessarily what Chelsea fans are talking about anyway. I still feel that Liverpool have a chance. I'm saying there's a chance because if they win their game in hand, that's a 7-point gap. They've got Man United to play at Villa, at Anfield. That brings it down to 4. But whoever and if anybody can get into this race, then realistically, it's about the ability to go and win in a league that is ridiculously competitive. I just don't think that you can look at Chelsea or Liverpool or Brighton or Fulham or Brentford. I don't think you can look at them and go, yeah, they're going to go and win 10 games in a row. I remember when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took over United as an interim and we were nowhere near the top 4. And over 2 or 3 months, he got us into the top 4 race, and then we bottled it. But we relentlessly won week in, week out. And you could do that in the Premier League then. You could. I look at Chelsea and I go, right, at home to Fulham on Friday night. Not an easy game. You've got to win that. Then your next Premier League game's away to West Ham, which a London derby, it's going to be difficult. Then they've got to play Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League. Then they've got Southampton at home. You'd expect to win that. But then it's Spurs away, and that's the thing. All right, win your home games. Beat Fulham, beat Southampton. But are you going to win at Spurs, and are you going to win at West Ham? So imagine you draw those 2 away games and you win the home games. That's 8 points from a possible 12. You've dropped 4 points. Are Newcastle and Man United going to drop 4 points? You can see the gap getting bigger, and I think that's the problem. I think if we were all starting on a level playing field, Chelsea would be a good shout for top 4. But it's the gap they've got to close against teams that I don't think are going to drop that many. I don't see Newcastle and Manchester United dropping that many points between now and the end of the season. So to close a 10-point gap, you've got to drop 10 points less than them. And to do that in this league, I think you've got to win. I mean, I look at Chelsea's run. West Ham and Spurs away is difficult. They've got the home games against Southampton and Fulham. Leeds in March at home. Leicester away. Everton at home. You'd fancy them to potentially win all those. Villa at the start of April at home. Wolves away. Brighton at home. Man United away in April, which obviously they'd look at having to win. Brentford at home. Then they've got Arsenal away. Bournemouth away. Forest at home, City away, Newcastle at home. And again, that Newcastle game, if they could get... It's not impossible. And the reason I've done this video this morning is because I don't think it's impossible. I just... And it could be an interesting one to keep an eye on. But the big thing is... Well, there's 2 things. One, the league is ridiculously competitive. And that makes it very hard to go and win 6, 7, 8 games in a row. 2... The gap is 10 points and there are no games in hand. And I don't see Newcastle or Man United dropping 10 points on Chelsea in the second half of the season. I just don't see it. I think Chelsea would, I'll actually say this now. If Chelsea can maintain that gap at 10 points, I think that's probably a good enough season to get them into 5th or 6th, which for them is not a bad season from where they are at the moment. I think Chelsea have had a fantastic transfer window, but I still think they are very much a work in transition, a work in progress. I think they've got some really good players. I think they will play better football. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the season that they are the form team. But I think it's very difficult. But I mention them because there is an outside chance for Chelsea. And where do you put Chelsea's chances in relation to Liverpool, who I still think Liverpool can do it? And let's not forget, Chelsea have got to play Newcastle and Manchester United. You win both of those games, that gap is 7 points, straight away. So I don't know how that works, actually. Would it be 7 points if you beat Man? Well, yeah, it would, wouldn't it? Technically, it would do. But yeah, they've got to win those games. One of them is at Old Trafford, so maybe they might fancy Newcastle, that we'll talk in a minute. Liverpool, I still would put Liverpool as... I still think Liverpool will get top four. I'm probably in the smallest minority in the world, but I still think they'll get top four. And I think that might just be stubbornness because I've been saying it all season and I've got a bet with Ben Foster. But I still just don't get Liverpool. I still think that they didn't have a great transfer window, but I still don't get how they can't win games of football when last year they were one of the best teams in Europe. I'm probably banging my head up against the brick wall saying that that Liverpool will get top four, but I just still think they're capable of going on. They've got it in their DNA to go on a run of winning games. And I think they've got so many players that are underperforming. But the honest reaction is, and I wanted to do this after the transfer window, is that top four race, apologies to Brighton, apologies to Fulham, apologies to Brentford, you're not in it. You're having a great season, you're not in it. And I'd love to be wrong at the end of the season, but you're not in the race for top four. I can't see that happening. The race for top four is potentially closed with the 4 teams who are in that spot. But Liverpool and Chelsea could provide something, but they will have to go on amazing runs. And I would keep an eye on Chelsea. A lot of people might write them off. Keep doing that. But a lot of people write them off, but I do. Actually, that's very annoying. I hate doing that. Bloody thing. Anyway. I think keep your eye on Chelsea. Could happen. Newcastle, on the other hand, I just want to say, wow, absolutely fantastic Newcastle. Into the Carabao Cup final, comfortably in top 4 place at the moment. Are they going to go from strength to strength? Obviously, they've got a great team morale. They've got a fantastic manager. They've got momentum. The goal of Newcastle and the excitement around that club is amazing to just soak up. And look, it's very much Wrexham of the Premier League, and I'm not going to pretend that I think it's a fairy tale. But I can be happy for Newcastle fans and Wrexham fans. I just don't think it's a fairy tale. I don't know why people get their bee in the bonnets about it. The reaction on the radio and everything, listening to Newcastle fans this morning, they're so excited. If they get top 4, the doors are open for Newcastle. They really are. And I think that Carabao Cup final, the trophy, they've got a great chance in that. They're going to be playing my club, Man United. We're going to be playing games every 3.5 days. Look at Newcastle's February. They don't play now until next Saturday the 4th, which is, it's this Saturday. They're playing West Ham at home on Saturday. Then they've got another week off where they play Bournemouth away. Then they've got another week off where they play Liverpool. And then they've got another week off where they play the Carabao Cup. So Newcastle have got 4 games in February. Man United have got 8. Newcastle, on the week before they play that Carabao Cup game, they play Saturday at 5:30 against Liverpool, yeah? They don't play again for 8 days until the Carabao Cup final. Manchester United, we play on the Sunday against Leicester. I think it's Leicester. Then we play Barcelona on the Thursday. And then we'll play the Carabao Cup final on the Sunday. So Newcastle play their game. United have to play 2 games before they play Newcastle. So Newcastle have 8 days off. Man United will play 2 games in that before. So Newcastle are going to go into that final fresh, revved up and ready to go. Now, look, I think it's going to be an interesting final. But Newcastle have got a very, very good chance of having a very, very good season. And look, we spoke about Chelsea. Newcastle are in the box seat. They're not in Europe. They don't need to worry too much about squad depth like a Chelsea or a Liverpool or a Man United do. They just need to be a little bit lucky with injuries, keep their team fresh. And with a week off in between every game, Newcastle are really in a strong position. As I say, West Ham at home, Bournemouth away, and then Liverpool. They need to beat West Ham and Bournemouth. And then they set themselves up with a game against Liverpool at Newcastle, where if they win that, they probably just killed Liverpool's top 4 hopes. Into March, they've got Man City away. That'll be tough. Wolves at home, Forest away. Again, you'd expect them to win 2 out of 3. And then into April, home to Man United, away to Brentford, away to Villa, home to Spurs, away to Everton. I think when you look at Newcastle, all they've got to do is just keep winning games, winning 2 out of 3. Win 2 out of 3 and they'll get top 4. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Get your comments in. I'm still putting Liverpool in the top 4. I'm still going to do it. Stubborn bridge, but I am still going to do it. Chelsea, it would be amazing. It could happen. I'd probably say it's about a 20% chance of happening. It could happen. But as I said, points on the board are so important this season. And look at Newcastle. They're playing a game a week. They play at the weekend. They have a week off. That's going to be huge over the next 3 or 4 months when you've got teams like Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal, all playing 2 games a week for most of it. So Newcastle at the moment look really strong and they're buzzing. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like. Make sure you subscribe. I'll speak to you on the next one.